Imagine being forced to spend 18 hours a day studying the mechanics of demons, the movement of stars for divination, and the myths of the very gods who supposedly crushed your people. This wasn't liberal arts education. It was a 3-year psychological operation designed to replace the Torah with the wisdom of the occult. Today, we look at what Daniel was actually forced to learn and how he survived the University of Babylon. Hello and welcome to Bible Talk. I'm your host, T. I'm not a theologian. I'm just a woman who loves God and wants others to truly understand the depths of faith we should have. In this video, we analyze the grueling 3-year curriculum of the Chaldeans and the logical pressure of being re-educated by a superior worldly power. I read from the Christian Standard Bible, and we're going to go into Daniel chapter 1, 4b through 5. To teach them the literature and language of the Chaldeans, the king assigned them a daily provision of the king's delicacies and of the wine he drank. They were to be trained for 3 years, and at the end of that time, they were to serve in the king's palace. The phrase literature and language sounds innocent, but in the context of 605 BC Babylon, it was anything but. Let's talk about the tongue of the Chaldeans. Daniel had to master Akkadian Cuneiform, a script so complex it required years of memorization. This was the language of the Enuma Elish, the Babylonian creation myth, and the code of Hammurabi. So the wisdom, Daniel was being trained as a magus. This included mathematical astronomy, predicting eclipses to determine the gods' moods, and extispicy, reading the livers of sacrificed animals. The logical trap. Nebuchadnezzar's strategy was enforced gratitude. He gave them the best food and the best education. Logically, many young men would think, "My God, let my city burn." But the king of Babylon gives me steak and a degree. Maybe Marduk is a real power. Keep that in mind. That's how the enemy thinks. It's how they do it. The enemy will reward you after burning something that is actually godly and biblically, so that you can start worshiping the false god. Remember, Satan comes in as a light. We're warned about that in the New Testament. So let's talk about the historical data. Archaeology has uncovered the Aduba, the tablet house curriculum. Students had to copy thousands of lines of pagan incantations. Daniel didn't just skim this. He had to master it to survive. It's one thing to face a line. It's another to face a textbook that tells you your God is a myth. So the skeptics might ask, if Daniel was a holy man, why did he agree to study the occult? Doesn't the Bible forbid involvement in magic and divination? There's a massive difference between knowledge and participation. Daniel was a captive. He was taught, but he did not practice. He had to understand the enemy's tongue to survive in the enemy's court. He was wise as a serpent and as innocent as a dove, which we see in Matthew chapter 10, verse 16. He learned the science of the Babylonians without adapting their soul-destroying superstitions. Here's my theological challenge. Many of us are in Babylonian university today, workplaces or schools that push a narrative contrary to God. The challenge isn't to run away and hide in a cave, but to be so grounded in the truth that you can pass the world's test without believing the world's lies. Daniel was winning the intellectual battle, but then came the table. It was time for the first stand, and it wasn't over a scroll, it was over a plate. So here are my questions for you. Are you filling your mind with more Babylonian literature, i.e., media, secular thoughts, than God's word? Number 2, can you study the world system without letting them become your truth? And number 3, if your survival depended on excelling in a godless environment, would you be 10 times better, or would you fold? In the next video, we're going to talk about the defiable table, the reason for the refusal. But until the next time, you have a blessed time, and I'll see you then. Bye for now.